I thought becoming a father would be the happiest moment of my life. When my wife, Sara, told me she was pregnant, I was over the moon. I spent months preparing for the baby's arrival, painting the nursery, assembling the crib, and working overtime to make sure we could afford everything our child would need. I read every book on fatherhood, watched every video, and dreamed of the day I would hold my son in my arms. When Adam was born, I cried harder than I ever had in my life. The moment I held him, I promised myself I'd protect him, love him, and give him a better life than I ever had. For the first year, I thought we were a perfect little family. Sara and I took thousands of photos, posted countless happy family pictures online, and I thought she was just as in love with me as I was with her. But I was living a lie, and I had no idea. It started small. About 4 months after Adam was born, I noticed Sara becoming distant. She spent more time on her phone, locking it every time I walked into the room. She claimed she was just tired or stressed from being a new mom. I believed her. Or maybe I just wanted to believe her. I told myself not to overthink things. Then one evening, I overheard Sara's friend Priya whisper something strange during a call. She was on speakerphone and I heard her say, "Does he know yet?" Sara panicked, hung up instantly, and when I asked her about it, she brushed it off, saying Priya was just drunk. My gut told me something was wrong, but I buried the feeling. I loved my wife, I loved my son. I couldn't even imagine anything else. Then came Adam's first birthday, the day that shattered everything. We had planned a small party at our house, just close family and a few friends. The decorations were perfect, the cake was ready, and Adam was smiling in his tiny blue suit. I was so proud, holding him in my arms, thinking I was the luckiest man alive. And then, right before we cut the cake, my cousin Arjun pulled me aside. He looked pale, nervous, like he didn't want to say what he was about to. "Bro," he whispered, "I need to tell you something. There are rumors about Sara." I frowned, confused. "What kind of rumors?" He hesitated, then pulled out his phone and showed me screenshots from a private WhatsApp group I wasn't part of. In those screenshots, Sara's friends were gossiping about how Kabir should finally take responsibility for his son and how Sara better pray Arjun never finds out the truth. Kabir was Sara's ex, the man she dated on and off before we got married. I felt my stomach drop, but I needed proof. So, in front of everyone, I walked straight to Sara, holding Arjun's phone, and said loudly enough for the entire room to hear, "Who's Adam's father, Sara?" The music stopped. The laughter faded. Everyone froze. Her face went pale. Her lips trembled. And then, she whispered the words that shattered my entire world. "It's Kabir's." For a few seconds, I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. My ears were ringing, my vision blurred, and all I could see was the tiny boy in my arms, the boy I had raised, loved, and called my son. I handed Adam to my mother without saying a word, walked over to the table, grabbed Adam's birth certificate, and in front of everyone I tore it into pieces. The sound of the paper ripping was deafening in that silent room. "You lied to me," I said quietly, my voice shaking with rage. "You used me. For a year you let me believe Adam was mine. You let me pour my soul into this family while you laughed behind my back." Sara fell to her knees, crying, begging, saying it was a mistake, and she didn't want to lose me. But I wasn't listening anymore. I walked out of that party, out of that house, out of her life. The next day I filed for divorce and immediately ordered a DNA test to confirm the truth. The results came back exactly as I feared. I had no biological connection to Adam. My entire marriage, everything I had built, was based on a lie. But I didn't stop there. I hired a private investigator to dig into Sara's finances and found out she had been secretly sending money to Kabir every month, money from my salary. I gathered every shred of evidence and handed it to my lawyer. In court, I fought tooth and nail. I made sure the judge saw how Sara manipulated me, committed paternity fraud, and siphoned my earnings to fund her affair. The court ruled in my favor. I walked away with the house, the car, and every asset under my name. Sara was left with nothing but her shame. As for Kabir, his wife found out everything during the trial. She divorced him, took half his business, and left him scrambling to pay alimony and child support for his own 2 kids. Karma came fast for both of them. Months later, Sara showed up at my door crying, saying Kabir had abandoned her and she had nowhere to go. I stood there, calm, cold, and empty. "You made your choice," I said. "Now live with it," and I shut the door. It's been 2 years since that day. I rebuilt my life from scratch, focused on my career, and finally started healing. Sometimes I still think about Adam. He didn't ask for any of this, and in some ways he was the biggest victim of all. But I couldn't stay in a life built on betrayal. Sara thought she destroyed me. Instead, she destroyed herself. Because sometimes revenge isn't screaming, fighting, or violence. Sometimes revenge is walking away with your dignity intact while the people who betrayed you watch their world collapse, and that's exactly what I did.